fentanyl is being, the opioids, heroin is being laced with fentanyl. And a lot of times people do not know that that's what they're receiving. So that's why we want to educate you today, that you know what you're putting in your body. We want you to avoid it altogether. But if you fall into that situation, you have to know what you're putting in your body. We just want you to be educated and make good decisions.
Thank you, Dr. Ramsey. And to piggyback what she said, opiates is a highly addictive drug. It can be fatal. It blocks the pain receptors in your brain, okay? And it lowers your respiratory. So those are key factors regarding that. She also mentioned different types of opiates. Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin. So those are the common names of the ones that you get prescribed, okay? So, now in the District of Columbia,
I also realized the elderly population may not know that they're actually taking opioids. I realized that in a very personal situation for me. Some of the other opioids, like tramadol, I took. So, full transparency, my mother, she did not know that that was an opioid, and we had to have a talk. You know, just a lot of older people do not know that they're consuming that. So I just wanted you all to be aware and just really talk to your doctor about what you're actually getting.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramsey. We good. We can't afford this mic. But we good. So basically, again, for seniors and for everybody, if you are in pain, no one wants to be in pain. If you have to take a substance, a drug prescribed by your doctor for pain, ask for one that's not opiate-based. That would be my recommendation, okay? Not opiate-based, because again, I know an individual who was prescribed Oxycontin was back, and they got addicted to it, and then the prescription wasn't doing what their body tolerance was calling for, and therefore they went out to the streets and they used synthetic opiates and so forth. Thank God they're still alive, but they almost lost their life. So when we talk about fentanyl is a synthetic opiate. Fentanyl is 25 to 50 times much more stronger than heroin. And then you have something called carfentanil, which is 100 times stronger than regular heroin. And what happens, the body can't take that. Sometimes people, unfortunately, their heart stops and they don't come back. Due to COVID-19, a lot of individuals now, unfortunately, isolation, they're using substances by themselves alone. So therefore, traditionally, no one wants to, even though they're using drugs, they don't want to do it by themselves. Before the pandemic, somebody might have been there to help them, but now people are not there, and they're using drugs alone. They're overdosing, no one's there to save their life, and we're going to talk about that. How can you save somebody's life? We know that God saves the soul, but He gives us power and knowledge to save a life, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how you can save a life, knowing what something's going on when somebody's having an overdose. So some signs of someone that is having an overdose is what? When you see somebody approach them, they may not be breathing regularly. Their breathing may be very shallow. You call their name, they don't respond. You rub their stomach, your sternum, they don't respond. Okay, so the first thing you need, all the lips are gray and blue, the pupil is dilated. So what you need to do, if they're not responding, if you don't have a phone, someone's not with you, you need to call 911. That's the first thing that you need to do. Call 911, let them know what's going on. You're here with them, you found somebody, they're unconscious, they're not breathing, etc. And then they'll tell you what to do. However, if you have Narcan with you, you can begin to do something that can help save them lives to the paramedics that we're going to see. And we're going to talk about that now and do a demonstration, so it's very important. So, Dr. Ramsey, could you take one of those? Yeah. So basically, this is Narcan. We have some here. Hopefully, we're going to be leaving all this here. We're not taking none of this with us today. Okay, so please, and we'll give some more if you need some more. And it comes in a box like this. Okay, and you can take it out. I'm just ready. Thank you. And if the person is not responsive, there's 2 in the box, right? Each one has 2 doses in it. Okay, and what you would do is you would take it out, and it's real simple. If the person is not responding, make sure that they're laying on flat on their back, and you would. basically give one shot in the nose, like you're doing a nasal spray, in one nostril, okay, and you would wait 2 to 3 minutes. Or hopefully you're not waiting 2 to 3 minutes, hopefully in 30 seconds or whatever they're coming back. But if they don't, in say 2 to 3 minutes, then what you do is you give another dose, and you can use it in the same nostril or the other nostril. It doesn't matter. But give them that second dose if they don't come to in 2 to 3 minutes. And again, with Narcan, its purpose is to basically stop what the opiates are doing. So the opiates basically are sending receptors to the brain and so forth from the brain to lower down your breathing. The Narcan is going to go into your system and it's going to stop that process. And then hopefully you'll start breathing again. So that's, our bodies are made so intricately. God made them, but that's how it is. It is what it is. So it basically, you'll start breathing again, and then by the time you're doing that, the paramedics will be there and they can provide further assistance. Because what happens, this is only temporary. This is temporary to get your breathing to start again. Now, depending on how much you have in your system, depending on how long you've been using, 1 or 2 or 3 of these may not do. We had an individual where they had so much fentanyl in their system, and it took 5 shots each time. They would come to, start breathing for 30 seconds, and stop breathing again. Come to, start breathing for about 20, 30 seconds, and stop breathing. So we did that 5 times, but finally we did save that life. But if we didn't have these on hand, this individual might have died. So it's real important. We have the tools and resources that you can to help someone. Now let me back up. In the District of Columbia, there's something called the Good Samaritan Law. The Good Samaritan Law states that you can help someone, and whether they have been successful or not, you cannot be held accountable or legal or liable for what happens. You cannot be held accountable or legal for any illegal substances that are on the scene, paraphernalia, drugs, etc. You're exempt from being, like I said, held accountable by the law. You're doing something good. What may happen is that person may come to, they may be angry, they may be a little upset because in their eyes, you kind of messed up their high or whatever. But you know that you saved their life. So the best thing to do is, back up and let the paramedics do their job and so forth. Okay. Now, and basically signs. These are the signs again. Real quick. So be pale or clammy to the touch, have a limp body, have blue, purple, or grayish fingernail, lips, or skin, be unable to speak or awaken, be vomiting or making gurgle noise, have slow or stop breathing. Those are the signs of definitely something is going on, and you're probably in an opioid overdose. Now, getting back to the District of Columbia, this is a worldwide epidemic, but here in the District of Columbia, it's been adversely affecting African American men, ages 30 to 60 now, 40 to 60. And guess what? Right here in Ward 7, and unfortunately Ward 8, this is where it's really hitting hard, and also Ward 5. So we have our work cut out for us. Again, in the District of Columbia, the individuals who have died, literally lost their lives, overdose, fatally, due to using opiates. And 99% of the time, these opiates are faced with fentanyl. The most is African American men. Now, that's not to say no one is exempt. We had a youth about 2-3 months ago, and Dr. Lane, she could attest to that, where this individual, I believe, was 17 years old, and she might have been in pain, had taken some Percocet. People are in pain. She took the Percocet, she didn't get them from the pharmacy, from a doctor. It was laced with fentanyl, and her mother found her dead, unfortunately, and she was not able to bring her back. 17 years old. Another individual had a son. He was 19. Fentanyl was laced in the marijuana that he was smoking. Smoked marijuana, went to sleep. Lost child. Went to sleep and never woke up from smoking a joint of marijuana. So this is real. Now, you say, well, people have been overdosing for years. Our people have been using opiates for a while. Yes, we have, but not to the point to where we're dying. I remember coming up in Harlem, New York, my uncle, he went to the Vietnam War. He came back. He had an injury. He was in pain. He took medication for the body pain. Then he got hooked on heroin in the street in Harlem and used heroin and methadone up until he was 80s, until he passed away. Those were one of those fortunate things where he went, again, to serve our country, came back with the injury, and came back addicted to this stuff. So it's real important that we take heed to this. Okay. Now, regarding harm reduction, there's something called harm reduction. Harm reduction consists of basically, sometimes the individual is not at a point where they're ready to stop whatever they're doing. So therefore, harm reduction may help someone do what they continue to do, but then they do the less harm to themselves. Harm reduction strategies consist of, in the District of Columbia, methadone maintenance and other drugs to help someone not use that stuff that's laced with fentanyl. Also, we have a needle exchange program where unfortunately people who use opiates intravenously, sometimes they're at risk for HIV, hepatitis A, hepatitis B. So what we do is have a clean needle exchange program that allows them to use and not bring other harmful effects to their body. Okay, I think I covered everything. Let me see. Okay, MAT. When I say MAT,